Bonjour à tous et bienvenue dans Tempête dans une tasse de thé. Comme toujours, c'est un plaisir de vous retrouver dans cette émission. Et aujourd'hui, j'ai l'honneur de pouvoir discuter avec Kishori Gopika. Kishori Gopika qu'on avait déjà reçu dans cette émission, c'était en août 2021. Et elle est de retour avec un nouveau livre qui s'appelle The Sun Swallower. On va tout de suite passer à l'anglais. Hello Kishori, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Riza. Thank you for having me on your show.
Nice to have you back. So I was just saying that you already came to the show. It was back in August 2021. You came here to talk about your very first book, which is The Birth of Blue Mystic. And you have been working a lot since then, and you have already released another book, which is why
Yes.
you are here today, so we can talk about it a little bit. So this one is named The Sun Swallower. So
Yes,
yes,
that's
exactly
the
this one.
that's
Yeah,
the book.
very nice artwork there. Um,
Yeah.
so let's talk about your evolution as a writer, Kishori, because you've been very busy since last time we spoke. Tell us about it. What happened since you released The Birth of the Mystic?
So I think that it just I got really inspired, and I think I got more confident with myself. And I thought, okay, why just the first book? Let me write a second book.
Mm,
And the story behind the Sun Swallower is that it's a story that I've told my daughter since she was born, and it's her favorite story. And I thought that why not put it down in paper and then write a book about it. So
mm.
that's how this little book came about, the Sun Swallower. So I've been writing books, and I have also been I don't know, as you know, I'm an accountant, that's my
Yes.
background, but now I've started storytelling sessions with children. So I do that on Saturdays and Sundays, where we speak, I tell children stories, and I try to find the values in that and try to teach them those values, because I think that it's really important that children they learn spiritual stories from a really young age,
Young age,
because
yeah.
if you want to make a child love God, you can't make the child love God by just having simple rituals. It's important that the child knows about God. So in a way, that is my aim, that the child gets an emotional attachment through stories. So that's a bit what I've been trying to do, and I'm writing more.
A lot, yes. And yeah, we can see that now you have developed a true passion for what you were doing, because last time we spoke, you weren't as confident as you are now, because now you have more experience, and at the time also you were inspired by your daughter to write your first book, and it seems that once
Yes.
again your daughter pushed you to write something else, as you were telling us about the story that she used to tell her all the time. And also it's based on your own experience, as you were yourself exposed to spirituality very late in your life. You weren't exposed
Yeah.
to it at a young age, so you want to give something to the children today that you weren't able to have at the time. That's it.
Yes, that's what I want to do. Because when you look at a child right now, especially this book, The Sun Swallower, why I wanted to write about that was that it's the story of where something bad happens to Hanuman, where he falls unconscious, and then out of that bad event, there are so many blessings that start raining onto him. He, as I know that you had a lot of work to do, you had to find out who's Indradev, who's Lord Brahma, and all of these new personalities. But what I wanted to teach children for this book is that is for them to have faith that life is like a puzzle, and that God is going to send little pieces of puzzle now and then. It's not going to be every single time. It's going to be like little pieces here and there, and they just need to be patient.
Mm,
And this book is all about the power of blessings, of how he receives a lot of blessings for what he has to accomplish in life.
mm.
So yeah, that's a bit about it.
Yeah, you seem to be very passionate about what you're doing right now, Kishori, with the writing, with the storytelling that you do with those children. You do it on Zoom, actually, right?
Yes, I do it on Zoom
Yeah,
Saturdays and Sundays,
yeah.
and they have amazing questions. It's, you know, the innocence of children and the
Mhm.
way that they absorb stories. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So it must be very interesting for you to have to be able to talk to those children and to discuss with them about all those stories, right?
Yeah, it is very interesting to speak to them.
Does it bring something to you? Does it inspire you even more to write to write for them? Because as we know, the first in the first book and in this one also, there are kind of different different ways that you write. There is the story itself, but then there is always that discussion, you know, with that conversation between the
Yeah.
mother and the daughter, and that is very complete as a story, because you don't have just a story like that, or um, um, just a tale that is that is there. You also have the context with the mother
Yeah.
trying to tell the story to her daughter. And so does that inspire you, the way that you are able to talk with the children when you do those sessions?
Yeah. So as you were talking about how I do the writing, so I don't know if you can see here.
Yeah,
So on this side, I have like the poem,
yeah,
which tells the story. And then here is like in the yellow part is like a little question and answer. That's the small questions that the daughter is going to ask the mother, whom we have right here.
yeah, yeah,
So she's going to be asking questions. Why I did it that way is that, you know, as I was growing up, I was told at the age of 14, I've been praying to Hanuman since I was 14 years old. So my mom just said, okay, do Hanuman Chalisa, pray to Hanuman. But my mom didn't teach me about his stories, about how
mm,
he was born, what did he do. He has amazing communication skills. He has amazing leadership skills. He has the way that he takes care of his relationships. And all of these things are so inspiring and can actually help us as a person, as an adult, as we grow up. So this is why I thought to myself that maybe there are other adults like me, other adults who want to teach their children about spirituality, but they don't know, they don't have that knowledge. So those books are my like a humble attempt
mm,
to do that, where I put the story and it's done in a poem, because what I've noticed with my child is that when I do simple rhymes with her, she sort of absorbs it, and
yeah,
it's very nice for her to hear. But then you have the question and answer for the parent, so that the parent knows how to answer the child, because there are going to be innocent questions. Like, for instance, you're going to be thinking, how is it like a little baby is able to swallow the sun?
yeah,
Doesn't make
sure,
much sense.
yeah,
And
sure,
my daughter was like, what are you talking about? How is that going to happen? And so I answered that in the book, that why is it that he had the power to swallow the sun?
yeah, yeah,
So it's all about giving the right information, and but in let's just say that it's in a remixed way, because
yeah,
you won't have parents going to get the big books to read.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone is so busy right now. Even I'm busy as a mother of two children. So those small books is a good way to introduce spirituality.
Yeah, it's more accessible, I would say. It's
Yeah.
you know, for all those people who don't have the time, as you just said, that the parents are kind of busy. You are busy as an accountant and all what you have to do with your children and all of that. So of course, it's not easy to go and dig in the big books, the sacred texts. So yeah, it's much simpler that way, to go and tell those stories to children, and also the parents can learn from that, so it's for the whole family, actually, parents and children
Yeah.
included. Yeah,
Exactly. Because, you know, I also had the experience of having toddler books for my daughter where it's very simple lines.
yeah,
But then as a parent, it's not pleasant for me to read. So in a way, I wanted to make it pleasant for the parent as well, where okay, they have something nice to read as well. That's it.
Yeah, where there is this interaction between the child and yourself, where there's a real conversation, and I think this is totally possible to do with this book. You can do it that way because you have all those, you have the poem on one side, as you said, and all the questions on the other side, with in the way that a child could ask those questions in a very simple way, very innocent way. So yeah, I understand your the way you try to write this book is really for everyone to have fun, not just the child, but also the parent who's going to read the story to the child. So that's the way for you also, as I understand.
Yeah, it's also encouraging for me to write. As a writer, it's, it's more challenging to find the right form.
There is also something a little bit more poetic on in this book in comparison to the first one. I feel like it's more there are more rhymes, there is more musicality in the writing. Was that something that you wanted to do, or it came just like that, unexpectedly?
It came unexpectedly, I would say. It's not something that I planned. Hanuman, so when I started my, as I said, I told you I came into spirituality late, but when I started listening to stories of Hanuman, I've been listening to those stories for so many times, and then it just flowed out of me. I think it's because it's like you don't realize it, but you're listening and listening every time to those spiritual talks, and then you end up writing a book, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you nourished yourself with that, and you were incredibly inspired, as you were always getting more information from what you were hearing, and you were also you already knew the figure, the personality of Hanuman, as you read a lot about it to your daughter and yourself. You already knew a lot more probably than you knew about Krishna.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've grown up. Krishna came sort of later, the book about Krishna, but Hanuman, because I've grown up chanting the Hanuman Chalisa and doing all those songs, so it's just, it came out, I don't know, it just flowed
Easily,
out of me, and it came out really easily. This second book came out really quickly.
Yeah, so
And
we're gonna talk a little bit more about it just after a little pause. We're gonna hear a song that you decided to play for us today. So we're gonna listen. This is Soul Kirtan, Hare Krishna Mantra, the reggae style remix. Let's go. Ok, so we're back. On est de retour sur le plateau de Tempête dans une tasse de thé, toujours en compagnie de Kishori Gopika qui me fait parler en anglais. Donc, on va repasser à l'anglais. Kishori, so we talked about the evolution of your writing, of your personality as a writer since the first book you released, The Birth of Blue Mystic, and now you released your second one, The Sun Swallower, and you talked about about the figure of Hanuman, how you were already it was a very it was very familiar for you. You knew you used to pray Hanuman since you were very young, and to sing songs about him, and so it came out very naturally. And then what I would like to say is that you were very determined when you wrote this book, because it took a lot less time than for the first one.
Yes, that's true. This one, as I said,
how did you proceed? How did you manage to write so fast?
I think that it's as I told you, it's an ongoing process, because I'm hearing so much. We hear so many spiritual talks, So, and then when the inspiration comes, we just write. I did like a, I just did like a skeleton first, and then I
Mhm.
just left it in the oven. And then when I felt that I was ready, I was determined, and I sat down and write it. I just wrote it properly.
So
And it's a
all in a
small
week.
book. Yeah, in about a week,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's a small book, but you managed to synthesize all the information in just 24 pages, and I think you did great on this one, because as you said earlier, there are many there are different characters that are involved in the story, but you were able to put them all in just all those 24 pages and tell the most important parts of the story, not go in too many different directions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you really managed to be very direct in that way. And so
Yeah.
how was it for you to put all that information in just one short book? Was it difficult for you to make the choice? What would you say and what you would not say?
So I think that I was really fortunate because I had a really good illustrator as well. She was very experienced because when I sent her the first draft, so when she did the drawings and everything, so we would have discussions. For instance, there is, I'll just show you,
Yep.
this is Indra Dev. So he's the god of heavens. So for instance, you can't introduce him as much, but then I just do it very subtly. You'll find here, I just say that the chief of heavens was not pleased at all. So
Mm.
that's a sort of introduction for him. So you know that, okay, so he's the one who's handling the heavens.
Yeah.
And then I say that he's the master of these guys and the commander of the skies. And he blinked his 1,000 eyes.
Yeah.
So then, so the child, he knows that, okay, he knows how to disguise himself. He knows how to command the skies. He knows how to command the, if you ask my daughter, she'll tell you, oh, it's Indra. Indra is sending the rains, he's sending thunder. And he also had curse, that's like a background story where he had like 1,000 eyes, but obviously we didn't put the 1,000 eyes in the illustrations, but
Mm.
still these are finer details that the child is going to grow up with. And this is how I worked with the illustrator. And even, for instance, there is the wind god.
Yeah.
What we decided is that
Yeah. Kind
just
of
to show a
tornado. Yeah.
tornado.
Yeah.
Yes, so that the child, he understands that, okay, wind god is thinking about tornadoes, the air and everything. So it was a collaboration
Yeah.
with the illustrator in the sense.
Yeah, you were, yeah, your works, yeah, it's complementary actually. What you write was perfectly illustrated by your collaborator. And about that, so on the first book you worked with a different collaborator,
Yes,
which
yes.
was a younger
She was younger,
person.
and it was also her first book.
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
name was Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we can see the difference here. When I first grabbed the Sun Swallower, it was it hit me that way that it was very colorful. A lot of it
Yeah,
was very flashy, very attractive with all those
yeah,
pink colors and the yellow and all and very
yeah,
colorful. So just you wanted to read it, just by seeing the cover, the artwork, it was already very attractive. And I think maybe this is also part of your evolution, because the first one was an attempt, coming
yeah.
from your accounting background, and now
I think that you can't adjust with the accounting background. I'm sure accountants can be very creative.
yeah, sure, sure. But I think I don't know, it's just a feeling about when I'm talking to you now and how you explain things and how you write now with this more this poetic language that you use, which is
Yes,
way more expressive in this book than on the first one. We can see that you
yeah,
have yeah, you feel more, I would say, confident. You have much more assurance now than you used to have before, as a writer. And I believe, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but all this experience, the way that you were able to listen to all those spiritual talks, and the way that you've been able to tell stories to children, maybe it gave you even more courage, determination, to go even further in your writing process.
Yes, I think that there's something when you're mentioning spiritual talks. The thing is, they say that spiritual life, your spiritual life, if you want to really grow, it starts with hearing. And I guess that this is what I've done. I've been listening to so many spiritual talks, and it's not only about listening to any kind of Krishna stories or Hanuman stories or Ram stories. It also depends on the person who's telling you that, because it is explained that you need to have someone who's really sincere and who has that sincere desire in his heart, that when he's telling that story, he wants to transform a person's heart, and he wants to transform a person's mind. So I think that I'm really fortunate in that sense, because I've come across very amazing spiritual teachers who have inspired me and who have taught me about the power of stories, how it can transform lives. And I guess that this helped my my, how should I say that, my shift from accountancy to starting to write poems, which is something that I've never done in my life before. And also, I do believe that we when we speak about spiritual teachers, I also think that it's also because of my parents, because I'm very fortunate in that sense, because my father is a writer. So I think that it must have come from him.
Yeah, sure.
And my mother is the one who initiated me to singing the Hanuman Chalisa and singing the prayers of Hanuman. And so I guess that I'm a product of their upbringing, all of this writing, this shift from accountancy to have to be actually determined to do something. It's coming from them. And even the moral stories, one interesting thing is that my grandfather used to do that. He was working as a teacher, and during the weekends he would have a group of children whom he would speak to, and he would try to teach morals to them. So I guess that I'm just continuing their legacy in a way. Yeah.
It's just a normal process for you to follow their path, actually.
Yes, that's true.
And so you mentioned earlier that the story about the blessings of Hanuman was also something very strong that you wanted to share in this story, in this book. So what about it? What about it? Tell us a little bit more about these blessings.
So the thing is, our children, when we send them to school, we think that they are going to be getting an all-rounded development. But the thing is, we are only teaching them academics. And even when the child is back from home, we're going to be looking at their, at their mark sheet, and then we'll see, okay, cahier rapport, and then we'll see what they've done, But then the focus is only on the academic part. But then, at what point do we build our child? Do we build that spiritual spine so that the child is ready to face the outside world, whether it is relationship-wise, whether it is at work, whether it is even handling all the things that is happening in the world, whether it's how do you handle the war or the COVID restrictions, about being scared all the time. So how do you build your child? Just having that academic knowledge is not going to be enough for the child. So this is why I want to teach children about spirituality, and it has to start from a young age. I'm going to go it's going to be a little boring, but I just want to share this little point with you.
Sure, tell us about it.
There's, you know, as a mom, I've done so much research about how to take care of my child and all of that. And I actually came across a research which explains how in children, the neurons, when they are just first born, the neurons are disconnected. And they are connected only by the quality of relationships that we give them. It's connected by the love that we give them, and how many even hugs or what sort of experiences that we give them. So if we focus on giving our children quality experiences from the start, and this happens through spirituality, through sharing stories and inspiring stories about blessings. So you already have, it's like a hard disk that's already in your child. And that, okay, fine, even if when they grow up, they're not going to remember it as a teenager or something, they'll probably rebel against us. They're not going to remember all of that. And yeah, I'm already preparing myself for that when my daughter grows up. But when she's an adult, I know that she has
at
that
some point she'll come
foundation.
back to it.
Yeah, because I can tell from my own experience, there were things that I was so annoyed with my mom when she would do when I was a teenager. I was thinking to myself, I'm never going to be like that. And now as a mother, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just a spitting reflection of my mom. I just do the same thing. Every example that she's given me as a child, it's ingrained in me,
You're
and I'm
following
doing that
that
with my child.
Yeah.
So this
it's
is
about
why,
values, actually. So it's about giving them values at a very early age.
yeah, it's about giving them values, and as you say, power of blessings. It's about giving them that faith that, okay, you know what, there are going to be really bad things that are going to happen, but you need to be really accepting, and you need to know that there is a higher power, that there is a divine power that is going to help you. So that's just me trying to help children, you know, foster that faith in their hearts.
So yeah, it's a long journey, but I think you're definitely on the good way right now, because you've you are, in the way you tell the story, it doesn't seem so complex, you know. We don't imagine all of that, you know, all the that work, that process behind it, you know. It seems so simple in a way, just 24 pages,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's something much bigger than that in a
Yes.
way. And also
We don't, oh, sorry.
yes, tell me,
Yes.
tell me.
No, I was saying that we don't realize that, you know, they say that you just spend 15 minutes reading to your child. You don't realize how much good you've done to your child. And now, apart from that 15 minutes you spend reading a book to your child, when you give your child, you teach your child something divine, when you teach your child something devotional, it's even better. You're giving your child an even higher experience. So I don't think that we should underestimate it, and neither should we be afraid that it's going to take much of our time. It's something very simple that the parent can include in their daily life.
So maybe let's hope that parents are hearing us right now, so they'll take they'll hear us, and they try to do it that way also. So let's make another pause. Kishori, we're gonna listen to another song that you decided to play for us. So we're going to listen to Ayodhya Vasiram and Gaura Vani and family. It's about, tell us about it. What you chose the songs about Hanuman also today.
So this song it's mainly because, you know, Hanuman loves Ram a lot. And Hanuman was actually an amazing musician. He knew how to play all types of musical instruments. He knew how to sing, and he would sing in such a lovely way that he would even put everyone into an intense kirtan. So this is this is in a way to please Hanuman and to have a song about Ram. This song is about the one who Hanuman loves, and you know, it's just to glorify Ram. So that's why I thought, okay, let me choose that song.
So okay, let's listen to it right now.
Okay.
Okay. On est de retour sur le plateau de Tempête dans une tasse de thé, toujours en compagnie de Kishori Gopika pour la dernière partie de notre interview. Kishori, so we just listened to that song about Ram, and we talked about your journey about as a writer, all the story about Hanuman, the blessings, and of the values and everything. So one more thing about the book, uh, you you were very open in the way you worked with your collaborator. You told your collaborator that she could do whatever she wanted, and actually it worked kind of. It worked pretty well in the end, isn't it?
Doing the drawing part. So it's important that she feels at ease, that she can live just like I've left free flow to my creativity and wrote those poems. So I need to respect her own creativity in
Yeah.
that way. And she had the free flow to all the drawings, and she could also she also had her opinion on whether whatever I was writing was in sync with her drawings.
Yeah.
So there were places where we changed a few things just so that there would be a seamless experience for the parent and the child.
And there are also some explanatory notes about the characters, who is who. So that was
Yeah.
kind of
That was for you, actually, I think.
that was very helpful for the non-initiated people, who aren't very familiar with all the Hinduist mythology. So yeah, it was very helpful in the end to understand all the characters, and yeah, I think that was something very clever to do, to put those notes in the book. And so the illustration process took 6 months.
Pardon? I didn't hear you.
Illustration, it took 6 months.
Yes, it took about 6 months to do the illustrations. Yes, it did.
But finally the book came out very soon, very early actually, since the other one came out last year. It's just 6 months after the release of the birth of
So no, it took 1 year. I
1
was
year.
so the birth of Blue Mistake, it released in, I think, February
Okay.
last year.
Yeah.
And then yes, I
Yeah,
just took
yeah.
some time
But
to
yeah,
do
but
this.
anyway, that's not so long. Yeah, it didn't take that long in
Small
the end.
book. It's a small book.
Yeah. And so let's talk about your projects, Kishori, to end our conversation. You are already working on a new book, isn't it?
Yes, I've already started working on a new book. So it's going to be a series following the birth of the Blue Mistake.
Yeah.
So
So once more
as you said,
about Krishna. Yeah.
so this one is going to be once more about Krishna, and maybe we'll have a few more Hanuman books coming in between. We never know.
Oh, okay. So
Hanuman is like my
you're very
favorite
busy.
hero.
You're very busy, actually.
Yes, I am.
I think
So
I think you will have to stop accounting. You won't have the time to focus to focus on both. Since
I'm
you're
doing
writing
that,
so
and
many books right now, maybe you have to stop.
no, yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I've sort of discovered my passion, so I feel very grateful for that, because it's good that you feel happy when you're doing something that you love. And I always love to read books, but now I'm writing, and let's see where it takes us. And I also write on a weekly basis. This is mainly, I try to take verses from the Bhagavad Gita. I write a little poem out of that as well. Okay. And I relate it, whatever things that I've observed. Sometimes it's about women, sometimes it's about things that have happened to me, and I know that has happened to other people as well. So for instance, about forgiveness, or things that people are struggling with. So I try to write once a week about that as well. And then there's, as I said, we have the classes with children, and that I do on Saturdays and Sundays. And I don't know if I can make that announcement right now. So I'm also starting one session. It's going to be a 6 session with children.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to start this Saturday on the, what day is it going to be? It's going to be the 12th. Yeah, no, the 12th of March. So 6 session, and it's going to end on the 16th. Hanuman Tales.
Yeah.
40 minutes to 1 hour, where I just tell children stories about Hanuman. There are so many more, well, more and more stories about Hanuman.
Yeah.
So if anyone is interested, whoever is going to be listening to the radio show, they can contact me on Facebook, and they can enroll their child for that storytelling
Sure.
session.
Yeah, good, very good idea. So you're very active. You're very busy, as we can see. So many more books to come for sure.
Let's hope so.
About Hanuman and about Krishna, and I know that the one you are working on now is more difficult for you, because you have to do a lot more research, right?
Yes, there's more research to be done. There is more reading, there's more trials as well. And I think that now I've sort of understood my style of poems and question and answers.
Yeah.
So it's, trying the different poems and seeing what question will be relevant for the child and what not. So because there's so much information, and those stories are so philosophical. There are so many lessons that can be found, can be learned from those lessons, from those stories. So, it's you need to know how to extract the essentials and how to make it kid friendly. So that is a challenge. Yeah.
As I was saying earlier, I think that's really what you were able to do, what you succeeded in doing with this one, probably more than on the first one. With the sun swallower, you were able to extract all the essential information, to be very selective about the information that you chose, and to put it all in just those 24 pages. So I believe you will definitely get better at it, or the more you are going to work on it. So I think it's a very normal, very natural process in the end.
Yes, that's true.
So Kishori, let's remind our listeners that your book, The Sun Swallower, is available. Where can they find it?
So they will get it at so you have the book corner in all the supermarkets and the malls.
Yeah.
So it's distributed in all book corners across the island. So they will have them there, and the book is at 250 rupees.
Yeah.
So let's hope that you can introduce your child to the magic of Hanuman.
Yes. So thank you, Kishori. It was a pleasure talking to you as usual, and we wish you good luck. And I'm sure that maybe next time we will speak, you will only be right.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, since you're very involved now in this field with your writing, your storytelling, the research you're doing, and the time also that you are taking to tell stories to your children, also the motivation that they are giving you. So you're involved into it right now, more than you were before, certainly.
Yes, that is true. I think that I've sort of discovered myself, and I'm letting it flow. I'm just letting the creativity.
So thanks a lot, Kishori. Wish you good luck.
Thank you.
We're gonna end the show now with another song about Hanuman Khalisa, right now on Cool FM. Merci à tous d'avoir suivi cette émission. On se retrouve très prochainement sur les antennes de Cool FM. Bye bye.